I'm Jeff Sharp, and I am with AEG, the Anschutz Entertainment Group.
What's your title?
My title is Vice President of Urban Touring.
Now, of course, I won't be on camera, so if you could answer each of these in a complete sentence, it would be really helpful.
Okay, and the beautiful thing is we can always erase and redo.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Now, so we'll just dive in.
Go for it.
How long have you and Fred known each other, and what initially brought you two together?
Fred and I first met in Nashville, Tennessee in 1978. I was producing Teddy Pendergrass's tour, and Fred was the local promoter and contact for Nashville and Memphis, but Nashville was where I met Fred.
Okay, and so what is your current relationship with Fred?
Fred and I are very good friends, number one, and I've had a very productive business relationship for 30 plus years, and it just continues.
And when you do tours, how does Fred assist?
Fred handles all of the local marketing, and Fred and I are partners on our shows, specifically in Nashville and Memphis.
And over the years, what are some of the tours that you've done together?
Oh, we've done a lot of tours together, a lot of shows together. I'd say starting with Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross, Prince, Rick James, R. Kelly, Earth, Wind and Fire, Charlie Wilson. Presently we're doing Escape, Chem, Fantasia.
Now, I understand.
Sure, a few more. Okay.
I understand that the Prince tour broke records.
Well, which one?
He said 3. We were all sold out mid-summer shows.
Oh, yeah. Prince Purple Rain, of course, was that tour set the standard of touring at that, and that was 84, 85. And at that time, it was, I think we were in 15 trucks, and we were doing multiple arenas in every city, 5, 6, 7 shows in every city. And that tour set the bar. Of course, in retrospect, it's, that's nothing now. The tours have 30 trucks, and it's a different time. But in 84, 85, that was the standard by which tours were judged by.
Okay. And what's it like working with Fred Jones?
Easy.
You said working with Fred is easy.
Fred's a very competent, prepared. He conducts business in a very proper fashion. There's no surprises, and it's easy. He does what he says he's going to do, which is often a rarity in our business. So it makes it easy to do business with Fred.
And are there any stories about working with him or just him in general that you'd like to share?
Oh, stories with Fred. I got to think of, 30 years, I'm sure there is a story. I'm trying to think of what the story would be. But whether it would be, I'd have to confer with Fred. He'd have to refresh my memory. But when you do 150 shows a year for 30 years, they all sort of mold together. I'm gonna confer with Fred and come back with that one.
Okay. Now, both of you have been in this business for a very long time. He's turning 70 soon. Why do you think you two have been able to have such longevity in the entertainment promotions industry?
As a result of how we do our business. Everyone appreciates the fact that we produce quality events, thoroughly marketed and produced, and we're consistent. Fred and Jeff both are the same today as we were in '78. So that's what people look for.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about working with Fred?
Once again, easy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this business can become unnecessarily complicated. And it doesn't need to be. If you're prepared to do the work and you do it, it's easy. It's, we are in charge of informing and passing information along. This artist is going to be at this venue on this day. We can't really do much more than that. People either want to see the artist or they don't want to see the artist. We are maybe 5 or 10% of what happens as far as attendance goes. I explain to people all the time, you could do prints, you could do prints on a Monday afternoon and he would sell out. And there are other acts, you can have Saturday night and they can't sell 100 tickets. So, the artists sell the tickets. That's whose name is on the ticket. They don't come to see Fred and Jeff. All we do is inform the people that Escape is going to be in South Haven tonight at 8 o'clock. And God bless Jeff and Fred. People are coming. So.
Okay. You may have already said this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Describe Fred Jones in 3 words.
Easy, competent, and thorough.
Well, that is all of my questions, sir. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
I'd like to get a story from Fred, though. We did have the tornado show here. But that wasn't me,
I think the one, I was thinking, really strange you mentioned that. I thought about the time we did the Luther show at the Coliseum, and it had the ice storm hit.
Oh, yeah, the opening night. The opening night of the...
and you had to take the show out.
Right, and we went to Indianapolis and we came back the next day.
And it still was ice.
It was still ice.
Yeah, that was one I remember.
Yeah, we rehearsed a show for 4, 5, 6 days at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Right.
And when the last day, of course, we were going to do a show. But I had an ice storm, so we had to cancel the show. So we loaded the show out, drove to Indianapolis where the second show was, and we had an off day the next day. So we drove there, did that show, and then drove back, and we couldn't get back here or whatever because the ice was...
Well, no, we actually came back, but it still was an ice storm.
Yeah,
so
right.
We still did the show. It was
a mess.
Terrible.
That was what, the Busybody tour. What was the name of that tour?
I can't remember.
The pink tour jacket.
But it was funny when we was talking.
Forever for always for love.
Yeah. But the one here at the Landis Center, it was funny. When you called me, I remember it was like about 4 o'clock. You said, "You better get over here." And they just had a storm. I could see that the trees were down. And by the time I got here, every building in this area was on except the Landis Center.
Yeah, it took out some. And the show was already up and hung, and a transformer or something blew out.
Right.
And they couldn't replay. It was going to be 24 hours. So we couldn't get anything. We couldn't take the show out because we had no electricity. Everything's up in the air, hung and stuff. We finally, and of course, generators all of a sudden became a premium. So we finally had to. I think the police department or somebody helped us get a generator over so we could get powered up to get our show out and move on because we were stuck here. We couldn't go to the next city. Not only did we lose this show, we were about to lose the show in the next city. Yeah, but that one sorted itself out, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have no funny stories. That's that. It's the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not funny when you when you got a show. I mean, like the Charlie Wilson show, we had the storm, and we were in Nashville, and the show was going in, and loading in and everything, and then at around 10:30, 11 o'clock, the mayor of Nashville got on with a news conference, say all employers let your employees off so they can go home. So we couldn't do a show. I mean, that was kind of bad because you're selling tickets like crazy, and you know it's always seemed like something like that happens when you have a good show. So I tell everybody who wants to be in this business, don't count your money too fast. Wait till the show is over.
Since you went there and we have two legends in the room, what advice would you give people who want to get into this business? Both of you.
It's over.
What do you mean?
I was going to say it don't.
No, the business has evolved. Back when we started, all you had to have was an entrepreneurial spirit, and you could do it because bands would play for the door or play for $5,000-$10,000. Now, economically, the business is really controlled by two large entities, Live Nation and AEG. Because these artists now require millions of dollars in deposits, and back when Fred and I started, if you had $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, you were in business. That doesn't even get you the building deposit down anymore. So and Live Nation, AEG control 90% of the talent, and so it's very, very difficult to get into the industry and get any real traction. You're really dealing with leftovers.
And I kind of tell people all the time, you're not going to be in business today. You'll do a show, maybe,
That's
maybe, but you're not going to be in business. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
You may do a show, but you're not in business.
You're not going to be in business. And I think that's one of the things that's been remarkable about Jeff and I's relationship all of this time, is that it's very difficult to maintain a good business relationship with all of this kind of evolving, and how you can make it work and how you can work together. It's very, very difficult. So for us to have done this together, to be able to tell these stories and all the things that we've done, and it hasn't been all bad, but it's very, very difficult. And it's kind of hard for young people to understand that, because everybody is so gung-ho, and I don't try to stop them. I just try to say it's going to be very difficult. You'll do a show, but you won't be in business.
So this day and age, the money is probably in the smaller shows rather than trying to get into the larger venues.
There's no smaller show money. There's no show that's with small money.
Okay.
You have a rapper that comes out that's have half a record, and it's $50,000. So it's not a small show anymore. That's just his fee.
That's so true.
So it's not small anymore. It's not.
What is interesting is, in long-term relationships, is how one conducts themselves when things are not good. It's always easy to do the right thing when the right things are happening. It's how you conduct yourself when things are not all good. And that, I would say, is why Fred has had longevity in the business. Because when things don't go well, he's always been the same person as when they are going well.
So at the end of the night, what is a successful show? What would you say are the attributes or the things that at the night you go, you know what, that was good?
Did it make money? I mean, we're in business. And at the end of the day, it's like life in general. Money doesn't solve all problems, but it'll get you pretty far down the road.
Right. And the other thing too is that for me, a good show is that when you get over the show, because sometimes shows are just so difficult. Even when you sell them out, you know, you got something. There's something, I call them drumettes. There's something going on.
Like.
So when you get at the end of the show is over with, and they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time," then I'm happy at that point. You know, of course, you want to make money. That's the name of the game. But you know, when the show is over, you know, regardless of how many times you do it, there's always some anticipation about something. You know, it's just.
I'm going to backtrack a second because it is about the money, and it is about the money, but it is also self-satisfaction when there's a good show. And one of the more difficult artists I dealt with over the years was Luther Vandross, who was very demanding, very particular. But when that man took the stage, his presentation was top-notch, first class, and there was a sense of real pride of being a part of those quality presentations, you know, that the fans enjoyed, and you made money. That's the win-win. When the fan enjoys and you make money, win-win.
Okay, I'm going to ask you each this question. What would you say are some of your most memorable shows? And some of the artists that you've worked with. You said Luther, but when you put together shows with all these artists you've done over the years, what are some that really stand out to you?
Hands down, Prince Purple Rain.
Me too.
Right, and you know, why you wouldn't think to ask somebody. This is, by the way, the Ford Motor Company.
Oh,
I feel good about that because they got more money than me.
Yeah, I saw the something happens, I help with it.
I mean, yeah, stuff like that is stupid stuff.
That's a drama-ette, Fred.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with it. I mean, it just something is going to happen. I mean, it just invariably that it happens. So you just, you know, when you do the show, and that's one thing that I've observed about Jeff when. I mean, he's with AEG, and I remember when he had the conversation when that started. But he's here every day. So if something happens, it's going to be right here. When something happens with the classic, we're going to be right there. I mean, it's not going to be, okay, well, Fred's playing golf. You know, Fred, you know, he's gone somewhere. He's out of pocket. You're going to be right there. And that's what you have to do, because that's why at the end of the day, getting what you put together, you spend all of this time and all of this money putting these things together, you really want them to work. I mean, that's part of the, and Jeff probably will say, okay, to this, you know, your ego's involved in this. Your show, you know, is on the line here. Your reputation's on the line. Something you can't control, but you want it to work, you know, so you want to be right there, be right on the spot. If something happens, you can make decisions and deal with it.
Any words of thanks that you would like to give?
Okay, I'd like to congratulate Fred on 35 plus years in the business, and all the many shows we've done together, and the many successes and the one or two failures that we have had. Congratulations, Fred, and the best to you in the future. Thank you.